Hey guys, it is Friday here in West Virginia, so it's time for us to do our Free It Friday. This is our first official video of the new year. I did one already on the first of like my favorite Mopars and others from 2024, but today we're back on our regular schedule of like Free It Friday, Mopar Monday, and whatever else pops up during the week. But we have those two videos we try to do every week, Mopar Monday, and Free It Friday. So today we're cracking open the last two cars I got in 2024, and it was a mail call from one of my buddies on IG, and they are both Fast and Furious Mopars, and I actually had both of them before, and I let them go because I was trying to stick mainly with stock Mopars, and I was collecting other stuff. Now that I'm focused mainly just Mopar, I like to kind of diversify those Mopars instead of just having all stock stuff. I like to get some other crazy stuff every now and then, some movie cars, some wild hot rods, or whatever it may be. So with that being said, I got the Fast and Furious Dom's 70 Charger and his 71 GTX, but it's actually a 72 GTX in the movie. But Hot Wheels didn't have the castings. Instead of making a new casting, which would have been very easy for them, they just used their 71 casting, which is okay. I like 71s better than 72, but there's really not a huge difference. Just the back bumper tail lights are different, and the marker lights are different, and the grill has a little difference. I think the 72 grill is kind of split in the middle, but that's about it. The marker lights are the biggest difference, and the tail lights are the giveaway. But the marker lights, if you know Mopar, 72 and all the way up to 93, I think, they use the same marker lights on everything. All of the cars, all of the trucks and such, unless they were like really heavy duty trucks, maybe like the D300s and stuff like that may have had different marker lights, but the 100s and the 200s, they all use that same marker light, the ambers in the front and the red in the rear, and it was the same part number. We used to buy them to sell at swap meets at the Mopar Nats and stuff all the way up until 2010, I think. We were still buying them over the counter at the Mopar parts department because, as I said, they were still using them on vehicles in the 90s. But up until then, 71 being the last year, every car had a very unique marker light for itself. And the 71 had marker lights that were rectangle, but they were cut into three little squares with their bezel that they used, as you can see on the side here. This car is a tampo error, and I did not even notice it when I told my friend I wanted to buy it. I probably would have still bought it, but as you can see, the marker light on the front is dropped way down there on the front valence panel, and the door handle was in the center of the door. So I've already opened these to put them out and look at them and take a couple pics of them. But I took some nail polish remover and took the door handle off on this side, and actually I was going to try to touch it up with a fine point Sharpie silver one and paint the door handle. I'm sorry. But I decided, you know what, I'm going to take the other one off on the other side because the car in the movie, I think, had like flush mounted door handles. It was some kind of custom job, I think. But if not, I like the way the car looks with the monochromatic look and just having the GTX emblems on the rear quarter and the marker lights, and that's it. And having the door handles either shaved or painted the same color. In this case, painted the same color. But yeah, usually with premiums, I don't run into a lot of errors with premium stuff from Hot Wheels. Occasionally I do. The wildest error that I had for a premium, and it's really not that wild, was a Mike and Ike 71 El Camino that had 5 slots in the front and 5 spokes in the rear. And it was supposed to have, I think, 5 spokes all the way around, but they were mixed up. and that was the like craziest error that I had in a premium ever. So most of them either are like paint errors, like this, like a messed up tampo or something. But yeah, the wheel error was the craziest one I ever had. I had that back in I think 2012, whenever that set came out. It was the candy thing and the pop culture stuff. But anyways, this car and the other one are both in the Full Force series. Pretty cool set for a Mopar guy. Flipping it over here, you had your 70 Charger and 71 Plymouth. The other ones are honestly not that hot. They're not that big of a deal for most, like the Acura NSX, but it was the new style, not the 91, 92 looking one that's most desirable. And then you had this Jag, whatever it is, XESV Project 8. I have no idea what that thing is. I don't remember it in the movie. And then the original 95 Mazda RX-7 of Dom from F1. Now that one is pretty cool. I guess it stands out a little bit from the rest. But the Charger and then the GTX are awesome. So let's get him out and take a look at him. The card art on the Fast and Furious stuff is always cool. They have, I think, computer-generated images of vehicles. That's not really a real car, but it's also not just a regular painting or art print. It looks to be computer-generated, which is pretty cool. And it has the 71 marker lights. But if you watch the movie, I don't even think the car in the movie has marker lights. I think they shaved them, but the tail lights, you can tell, are 72s and such. On the 72, now let me get this to focus here. Now the stupid phone. All right, there we go. The 72s are a little bit narrower, but they're fatter. They're like taller up and down, but shorter left to right. And they're just all red. And such. But yeah, the bumper, even you could see how the bumper is formed around them. It kind of drops down and forms around the tail lights. Whereas this thing is just one like flat bumper, and there's holes cut in the bumper for the tail lights. But the bumper for 72 looks like it was made around the tail lights instead of like the tail lights being like added to the bumper afterwards, like a 71, if that makes sense. So as you can see on this side, I also took the door handle off, which I like that look. The marker lights, however, I do like the 71 marker lights. As you can see, it is rectangle and they are flush mounted. 72s are more protruding, is the best way to put it. They set on top of the quarter and fender, and there are 3 holes. 2 little holes, one on the left, one on the right, for the studs, for the nut, and then another bigger hole in the center for your light bulb to go through. So there's 3 little holes, 2 real small ones and 1 medium-sized one. Whereas, like for these ones, there are holes the same size as the marker light, and every car was different. The 71 Plymouth B-Body was the only one that had this style marker light. The 71 Charger B-Body had a square marker light that was split in the center, so it looked like there were 2 small rectangle ones, the way the bezel cut the light in half. Really cool how they used to be very unique for each model. But after that, in 72, they started cutting costs, and they made every vehicle use the same marker. And another thing cool about this casting, this one's unique because this, I don't know if the vintage racing one that they made for Petty, if it had the cage in it or not, but this one has a roll cage in it, just like the car in the movie, which is really cool. The wheels look good on this. They kind of suit the style wheel that was on the car in the movie. They're not exactly the same, but they are close, and the way the color is in the center and such with the chrome lip is very similar to the ones from the car in the movie. So pretty cool piece. Then next is Dom's 70 Dodge Charger RT. Now, this car has been out in many releases of the Fast and Furious, and like the main line it was in. Then they had it in the cheaper Walmart exclusive Fast and Furious stuff when they had plastic wheels. Then it's been in the retro entertainment before they started the Fast and Furious lineup. Then they had it in the Fast and Furious lineup several times in the premiums. And it's been done in gloss black and matte black. And I think even the engine was slightly different on a couple. The engine, like the way it's designed, may have been a little different. And also in some, they may have been chrome and not painted silver. So yeah, it has a lot of unique differences depending on what release it was. I think even some of them, the bumpers were chrome or painted silver, I should say. But yeah, very popular car in the Fast and Furious franchise from Hot Wheels. It's been made numerous times, but it is a good looking car. And as you can see, the 70 Charger, it just had rectangle marker lights, but they were flush mounted. They were not mounted on top of the panel like the 72 on up. So nicely detailed. I like the blacked out look. I like even the matte black finish on it. I'm more of like a gloss shiny paint guy, but the satin matte finish on this looks pretty good, and the detail on the grill's nicely done. But these chrome bumpers on these are really cool because they're wraparound bumper. It goes all the way around the grill, the bumper did on a 70, which is pretty neat. So having them chrome really is nice because it shows how well that bumper looked on these cars. And they painted the gas cap silver to make it stand out a little bit. And these scoops for the RT on the door. Pretty cool. But yeah, that's it. That was my last mail call of 2024. I think they came in, it was either Monday or on New Year's Eve, Tuesday, where both of them had popped up. It all they came from the same seller, but it's the last package I got of 2024. So that's it, guys, for our Free It Friday. We'll be back again on Monday for Mopar Monday. Not sure what we're going to do and such, but if anything, as I said, if I don't have something to crack open, I usually do some kind of showcase on one of the Mopars, one of the Mopar body styles or something like that. But if anything else pops up over the weekend that we find at Walmart, I'll be sure to bring it to you guys and show it to you. And then, if not, we'll see you on Monday. So thanks for watching, guys, and enjoy your first weekend of 2025.